We're currently experiencing the golden age of digital out of home. The biggest changes happened some 20 years ago when industry introduced backlighting into posters, and that gave advertisers 24/7 visibility. Today, out of home has actually embraced digital, and technology has helped create and transform the industry into a digital, interactive and innovative and agile medium. In fact, digital out of home is now a truly national medium, with media owners rolling out digital site types across the UK and now enabling us to target key UK cities. In fact, the digital outdoor market now represents 38% of all revenue into out of home. And so £1 in every £3 spent in out of home is now allocated to digital. So how innovative and flexible can digital allow brands to be? Well, very flexible. We can now step aside from the 2-week planning campaigns in traditional out of home, and we can now break down by day. So if we wanted to target just a weekend pack, we can now plan all the advertising around just the weekend. If we wanted to target by time, we can do that also. So if you wanted to reach just commuters going into work, we can now focus on delivering a AM or PM commuter pack. And lastly, but not least, is geo-targeting. So we can look at specific location-based advertising and create our own packs around this. However, creative also plays an important part. So there's plenty of different ways we can actually be innovative and create standout using digital out of home. So there's subtle motion, full motion, dynamic motion, and even linear motion, where we can link screens together to create a very creative campaign. So what I'd like to do now is just talk to you about just a couple of examples really, where clients and brands have actually created their own campaigns around their marketing objectives in the past couple of years. So Chris Brand, I don't know if we have any FMCG brands in the room, but Kettle Chips actually looked at and understood that a lot of their crisps were bought on impulse. And so what they looked at was targeting the busy Londoner across the UK, across London, whilst they were out and about. And so what they looked at there was to build their own specific pack between the hours of 11:30 AM to 2 PM, just to target the people in the right mindset as they're out and about. And they also worked creatively to showcase a different flavour each day and ran that campaign Monday to Friday. And that was a pack that they created outside of your set packages. Another example, which is actually, again, it's a very affluent audience and always under demand, is the ABC One businessman audience. So we had a financial brand that we were working with, and what we looked at here was to look at a Monday to Friday pack, because obviously nothing happens on the weekend in the city, and we looked at commuter hours reaching this audience travelling to work on the AM commuter pack, and also as they travelled home on the PM commuter pack. So that segmented the campaign, but even further we looked at running all the advertising around the Square Mile and Canary Wharf area to build a very tailored and bespoke pack. The other thing that we also looked at, which is quite important, is LCD sites, digital LCD sites within office block lobbies. And what this allowed us to do is deliver a network campaign targeting people at their doorstep as they passed in and out of the office. But also quite important to note is it's quite a difficult audience to reach if you're looking for IT directors, HR managers, or even personnel. These packages allow us to actually reach a volume of businesses at their doorstep. And another really, really exciting campaign actually is thermal packs. So we can actually use weather to actually forecast our activity. So we're all aware that ice cream sales increase on hot days. So if we just took a step back and look at how out of home would have been bought in the past, it would have been a summer month in the UK. But we all know with British weather, there's bound to be a few rainy days in there as well. So what we can do now with digital advertising is check the forecast for the following day, and if that weather is forecasted to be 22 degrees or above, which is considered a sunny day, we can schedule your ad to be shown. If it's 22 degrees or below, we won't show your ad. And so what that does is minimises any wastage to the consumer. And what we know as well from research is if you run contextually relevant copy in the right place at the right time, it delivers an increased spike in sales rather than just running a generic campaign for a network hour. Modality is also important, and what I mean by this is targeting people in the right mindset. And more sources knew about this, and what research showed was shoppers generally do a large shop at one of the large supermarkets on a weekend. but then also do a top-up shop on a Wednesday, Thursday and Friday at the local Tesco Express. And so what Rossides did was to tap into the mindset of consumers whilst travelling home in the evening commuter pack, showcasing a nice full-motion video with a world-renowned chef with some quick ingredients from the right, where it was tapping into that mindset and providing a solution to commuters. So once they finish their journey at the other end, can just nip into their local Tesco Express and be able to buy a couple of ingredients and cook up a very simple and healthy meal in 15 minutes. In fact, this was so good and they were so pleased with the campaign, they actually changed the branding on the website to reflect this also. Social media can also be built into digital screens, and so this is a great and visually stunning example of Prometheus, showing full dynamic copy of the trailer there and also up-to-date and live feeds. Now, with live feeds, we can actually aggregate that and bring that all into your digital panel, whether that be Facebook, Twitter, any accounts, and then it will just be monitored, so delayed. It's a live feed, but delayed, say 5-10 minutes, just to make sure all the messages are public friendly. But again, another example, what can be actually achieved creatively on digital screens and using social media to build that into your campaign. So thanks again for your time.